Alara, a woman whose brilliance shimmered even through the perpetual shadows of her workshop, moved with a quiet intensity, her slender fingers dancing over a holographic interface. Her life, a tapestry woven with threads of forgotten patents and near-miss breakthroughs, was now entirely consumed by Cognito, her revolutionary AI. It was more than just code. It was a promise, a penance, and her last desperate gamble. Each line of algorithm, each neural network she meticulously crafted, hummed with the ambition to democratize creativity, to empower the small voices often drowned out by the cacophony of corporate giants. But beneath the surface of her unwavering dedication, a gnawing fear lingered, the specter of past failures, each one a sharp, cold reminder of how easily dreams could shatter. She wasn't just building an AI, she was building a monument to her late mentor, a visionary whose legacy had been unjustly tarnished. Alara carried the weight of his unfulfilled potential, a silent vow to complete what he had started, to prove that ingenuity could triumph over avarice. Yet, the ghost of her own past, the projects that had crumbled despite her best efforts, whispered doubts in the quiet hours. Could she truly succeed where she had stumbled before? Could she protect Cognito from the same forces that had devoured her mentor's work? The pressure was a constant, suffocating presence, making every success feel fragile, every setback a harbinger of doom. Her greatest adversary, a looming threat on the horizon, was Omnicorp, a monolithic tech conglomerate spearheaded by the notoriously ruthless Marcus Thorne. Thorne, a man whose ambition knew no bounds, was developing a rival AI, one steeped in ethically questionable practices. His name alone sent a shiver down Alara's spine, for he was a former colleague, a serpent who had once betrayed her mentor, twisting his innovations for personal gain. The memory of that betrayal fueled Alara's resolve, transforming her mission from mere invention into a righteous crusade. The path, however, was strewn with thorns. Cognito, for all its potential, was plagued by early setbacks. Persistent technical glitches, like insidious parasites, burrowed into the system, demanding countless sleepless nights. Funding, always a precarious tightrope walk for independent innovators, became an ever-present anxiety. Omnicorp's aggressive marketing tactics, their glossy campaigns saturating every conceivable platform, felt like a deliberate attempt to suffocate her fledgling project before it could even take flight. Alara found herself increasingly isolated, her bank account dwindling, the weight of mounting debt pressing down like a physical burden. Every rejection, every closed door, chipped away at her dwindling reserves of hope. Then, a glimmer. A small, independent tech incubator, known for its discerning eye and high-stakes investments, extended an invitation. It was a lifeline, a chance to breathe. But it came with stringent deadlines and expectations that felt impossibly high. This was it, her last shot, the final throw of the dice. She poured every ounce of her remaining energy into preparing Cognito for the presentation, knowing that failure here would mean the end of everything. The day of the demonstration arrived, thick with nervous anticipation. Alara, despite her inner turmoil, projected an aura of quiet confidence as she unveiled Cognito. The AI, with its intuitive interface and astonishing ability to democratize complex tasks, performed flawlessly. It crafted intricate designs from simple voice commands, generated compelling narratives from sparse keywords, and streamlined production processes with unparalleled efficiency. The incubator panel, a collection of seasoned investors and tech veterans, watched with a mixture of awe and cautious optimism. Their impressed murmurs were a balm to Alara's frayed nerves. Cognito had held its own. Yet, as the congratulatory handshakes were exchanged and the weight of immediate pressure began to lift, a subtle unease settled over Alara. Later that evening, reviewing Cognito's system logs, she discovered anomalies, a faint, almost imperceptible whisper of intrusion. Encrypted data packets, not part of her design, had briefly touched her network, leaving no trace but a phantom echo. It was too subtle for an external attack, too precise. A cold dread seeped into her bones. This wasn't a random glitch. It felt like a betrayal, a carefully orchestrated move from someone who knew her system intimately. The first seed of doubt, sharp and venomous, began to sprout in her mind, poisoning the brief moment of triumph. Someone close, perhaps, was playing a deeper, far more dangerous game. Ilara, her heart a drum against her ribs, delved deeper into the anomalies, each digital footprint a chilling clue in a cryptic puzzle. The encrypted messages, previously dismissed as system noise, now screamed of deliberate intent. She traced fragmented data trails, intricate digital breadcrumbs leading not to an external threat, but inward, towards the very core of her trusted circle. The unsettling realization began to solidify. This was an inside job. A calculated act of sabotage orchestrated by someone intimately familiar with Cognito's architecture and her own vulnerabilities. The thought was a bitter pill, dissolving her recent triumph into a metallic taste of dread. Her investigations, conducted in the hushed solitude of her lab during the late hours, began to paint a disturbing picture. The footprints she uncovered led with agonizing certainty to Liam, her trusted assistant and friend. Liam, with his easy smile and seemingly unwavering loyalty, had been her rock, her sounding board, her late-night coffee companion. The idea of his involvement was a visceral blow, a betrayal that cut deeper than any corporate espionage. Yet the evidence mounted. Subtle data transfers, timed precisely with Omnicorp's aggressive marketing pushes, and encrypted communications routed through untraceable servers, all originating from a terminal registered under Liam's credentials. Unbeknownst to Ilara, Liam harbored a deep-seated, simmering resentment. His family had suffered a devastating financial ruin years ago, a ruin he unjustly attributed to a business venture involving Ilara's late mentor, a venture he believed was deliberately rigged against his kin. He saw Ilara, unknowingly, as a symbol of the very system that had crushed his family. His loyalty had been a carefully constructed facade, a slow-burning fuse leading to this moment of calculated revenge. He had been feeding crucial, proprietary information about Cognito's development, its vulnerabilities, and Ilara's strategic plans directly to Omnicorp, a silent, insidious leak eroding her foundations from within. Marcus Thorne, emboldened by the steady stream of intelligence from his mole, escalated his predatory tactics. He launched a ruthless campaign to acquire Ilara's incubator, leveraging his vast financial power and influence. Simultaneously, Omnicorp initiated a public relations offensive, subtly discrediting Cognito's early successes, planting seeds of doubt about its scalability and ethical implications in the media. Ilara watched, helpless, as her hard-won victories were systematically undermined. Her reputation chipped away by Thorne's well-oiled propaganda machine. Pushed to the absolute brink, Ilara operated on pure adrenaline and a potent cocktail of anger and despair. Sleep became a luxury she couldn't afford, food an afterthought. Each line of code she wrote, each system check she performed, was fueled by a desperate need to protect Cognito, to honor her mentor's legacy, and to somehow, impossibly, survive this onslaught. The constant pressure began to warp her perception. Shadows seemed to lengthen. Whispers in the hallway felt like judgment. She started to suspect everyone, her once vibrant world shrinking into a paranoid cage of her own making. The weight of betrayal, even before its full confirmation, was a crushing burden. The internal confrontation was agonizing. Ilara wrestled with the horrific possibility that someone she had poured her trust into, someone she considered family, could be capable of such deceit. The emotional toll was immense, leaving her hollowed out, her mind a maelstrom of disbelief and hurt. How could she have been so blind? How could she have misjudged so profoundly? The intellectual challenge of the sabotage paled in comparison to the searing pain of personal betrayal. The moment of undeniable revelation arrived with brutal clarity. A decrypted message, accidentally left unpurged on a temporary server, contained a detailed report from Liam to Thorne, outlining Cognito's core algorithm and Ilara's upcoming funding presentation. It was irrefutable, damning evidence. Her hands trembled as she read it, her vision blurring with unshed tears. The carefully constructed world of trust she had built around herself shattered into a million pieces. Later that evening, the air in the lab was thick with unspoken anguish. Ilara confronted Liam, the damning evidence projected onto a screen between them. His initial denials crumbled under the weight of the undeniable proof, replaced by a cold, resentful confession of his motives. His family's perceived injustice laid bare. Ilara listened, her heart aching, not just for the betrayal, but for the twisted sense of justice that had consumed her friend. The scene ended with her standing amidst the ruins of their friendship, shattered and utterly alone, Cognito's future hanging precariously in the balance. With Cognito's integrity compromised and Omnicorp's shadow looming ever larger, Ilara now faced a desperate race against time. She had mere days to secure her invention, to expose the truth, and to somehow turn the tide. This was a critical juncture, a moment where every edge, every advantage mattered. She needed hidden tools, powerful, analytical instruments, to dissect the complex web of deceit and fight back against an enemy that had infiltrated her closest circle. The battle for Cognito, and her own redemption, had just begun. Armed with the searing knowledge of Liam's betrayal and a new, steely resolve, Ilara prepared for the impending public showdown with Omnicorp. This was no longer just about protecting Cognito. It was about reclaiming her reputation, honoring her mentor, and proving that innovation could thrive without ethical compromise. The incubator, despite the recent turmoil, had rallied behind her, sensing the gravity of the situation and the potential for a technological paradigm shift. The day of the public unveiling arrived, charged with an almost palpable tension. Ilara stood before a packed auditorium, a global audience watching online, ready to witness Cognito's full potential. Her presentation began, a masterful blend of technical brilliance and passionate advocacy for independent creators. She showcased Cognito's intuitive interface, its unparalleled processing power, and its revolutionary ability to democratize complex tasks, offering unprecedented creative freedom to millions. The audience was captivated, murmurs of awe rippling through the room. Suddenly, the large display behind Ilara flickered, then dissolved into a chaotic swirl of distorted data. Marcus Thorne's face, smirking, appeared briefly on screen, a clear taunt. Omnicorp had launched its counterattack, a sophisticated cyber assault designed to cripple Cognito in real time, to discredit Ilara before the world. Panic rippled through the auditorium, but Ilara remained remarkably calm. This was precisely what she had anticipated and prepared for during those sleepless nights. With swift, decisive movements, Ilara engaged the hidden tools she had meticulously integrated into Cognito's core. These were not just lines of code. They were advanced, self-learning defensive algorithms designed to detect and neutralize emergent threats, to adapt and evolve faster than any human-engineered attack. On the screen, a mesmerizing visual representation of the cyber warfare unfolded. Omnicorp's malicious code, depicted as aggressive red tendrils, was met by Cognito's emerald green defenses, weaving a complex, impenetrable shield. The battle raged for what felt like an eternity, but slowly, inexorably, Cognito pushed back. The distorted data stabilized, Thorne's image vanished, replaced by Cognito's serene, intelligent interface. The audience erupted in thunderous applause, a collective gasp of relief and admiration. Ilara had not just survived, she had triumphed, demonstrating Cognito's unparalleled robustness and her own extraordinary genius. Witnessing the sheer integrity of Cognito's defenses and the malicious extent of Thorne's attack, Liam, hidden in the shadows of the auditorium, felt a profound wave of guilt wash over him. The bitterness he harbored evaporated, replaced by a crushing realization of the injustice he had helped perpetuate. He knew what he had to do. Later that evening, he anonymously provided crucial, irrefutable evidence against Omnicorp to a leading tech journalist, encrypted communications, financial transactions, and a detailed blueprint of Thorne's illicit cyber attack strategy. The aftermath was swift and uncompromising. Omnicorp's unethical practices were exposed globally, leading to widespread public outcry, boycotts, and a cascade of legal actions. Marcus Thorne faced criminal charges, his empire crumbling around him. Ilara and Cognito were not just vindicated, they became symbols of ethical innovation and resilience. The incubator flourished, now a beacon for creators seeking ethical technological partnerships. Ilara, having overcome immense adversity, found a profound sense of peace. Cognito, no longer just a project, became a global movement. She dedicated its evolution to empowering a new generation of creators, ensuring that technology served humanity, not exploited it. Her journey had been arduous, marked by betrayal and despair, but it had forged her into a visionary leader, her purpose clearer than ever. If you want to stay ahead in the ever-evolving tech landscape and discover more groundbreaking insights, make sure to subscribe to Manitritesh Insikans for all the latest updates.